Hello and welcome. In this lecture, we will provide an overview of digital and IT strategy, case study, and the assignment response forms. Let us first understand the assessment approach for the DITS certification. The certification is obtained by passing the first phase, which is the practical assignments, and the second phase, which is the written examination. So it is a two-part assessment. Firstly, the practical assignments. The practical assignments are 4 assignments in total based on a single case study. There are 5 assessment criteria, 8 marks per criterion, therefore a total of 40 marks. Passing requires 30 or more marks out of the 40. The assignment applies Bloom's level 4 of testing, which means analyze and judge whether a course of action is appropriate and effective. It's an open book exam. Feel free to use the DITS manual or any other material. Once the practical assignments are passed, the second part is the multiple choice exam, the written exam. This is for 60 minutes or 1 hour, 25% extra time if not taken in a native language, 30 questions, multiple choice, 1 mark each, no negative marking. The pass mark is 21 out of 30, which is 70%. The method of testing is Bloom's level 2, which is about comprehension, and level 3, which is about application of the concepts. This is a closed book exam. First, about the assignments. The trainer evaluates the outputs of all the assignments. In particular, the scope, meaning the completeness of the results. And secondly, the quality, which is relevance to the case study and the correct application of the ITIL recommendations. A little bit more about the assignment assessment criteria. As mentioned before, 40 marks in total and require 30 or more to pass. For all the 4 assignments, or 2 marks per assignment, or a total of 8 marks for the 4 assignments, relate the ITIL guiding principles to all aspects of digital and IT strategy, which means in every assignment, there'll be a question related to the guiding principles to be applied for that assignment. And that will carry 2 marks per assignment, therefore a total of 4 marks or 8 marks. Criteria for individual assignments. Here we have 8 marks per assignment. The first assignment is about using a digital positioning tool to determine the appropriate position for a digital organization. This would carry 8 marks, plus the 2 marks for the principles. The second assignment would carry 8 marks for assessing strategic approaches for digital organization and 2 marks for the principles. Assignment 3 is about applying various approaches to strategy coordination and implementation, and again 2 marks for the principles. And the last assignment is about knowing how to analyze the VUCA factors and address them in a digital and IT strategy. So 8 marks for this plus 2 marks for the principles. So in total, 40 marks and 30 required to pass. Let us understand the case study and the assignment evaluation process. You need to use the case study and the assignment response forms provided in your online access to this course. Understand the case study fully and select one of the 3 companies within the case study for responding to all the assignments. Meaning, you must do all the 4 assignments for your selected company only. From the 3 companies, you may not change one company to another for every assignment. But you must understand all the information in that case study related to all the 3 companies. Thus, you may not select a different company for each assignment. You may refer to the recording again for how to respond to individual assignments, as the response forms are different for every assignment. In this recording, I will be explaining the case study in brief and how the response forms look like for every assignment. Remember that these assignment forms in the case study are available in your online access to this course. They may be downloaded. and you would have to submit the assignment response forms after filling them in, and I will be explaining how that needs to be done. The evaluation is done based on the correctness and completeness of your responses and the relevance to the case study as well as the relevance to the ITIL DITS guidance. And this would be important. You should aim to respond to each assignment as soon as possible to ensure timely completion of the training. Each assignment will require around half an hour to 1 hour or little more to complete, including filling up the corresponding response forms. Additional time will be required for responding to the trainer's questions or if resubmission is needed. Even if you have responded very well to the assignment, there would be some feedback from the trainer. And in case the assignment was not successful or not passed, it will be informed to you and you would have to fill up a different type of an assignment form. You would have to download the response form for every assignment provided in your online access to this course. We also recommended that you also use the individual takeaway form for your own notes. That need not be submitted. However, feel free to share it with us if you wish to. You will be allowed to proceed to the next section in the course only after submission of an assignment. The trainer will respond to you within 2 business days with feedback, asking you some questions related to the assignment. You need to respond to them, following which the trainer will indicate whether the assignment was passed or not. In case the assignment was not passed, the trainer will ask you to resubmit the assignment again, but in a different format. Note that all assignments are open book, wherein you may refer to the DITS manual. All assignments related correspondence should be addressed to info@oneworldtraining.com. Before I explain about the various assignments, I would like to remind you about the 7 ITIL guiding principles. Focus on value, start where you are, progress iteratively with feedback, collaborate and promote visibility, think and work holistically, keep it simple and practical, optimize and automate. The first assignment. This assignment is based on the DITS syllabus learning objective 4, which is use DITS to remain viable in environments disrupted by digital technology. In particular, this is syllabus number 4.5, which is use a digital positioning tool to determine the appropriate position for a digital organization. In the response form, you need to answer the following questions. Based on the case study and your assumptions, identify up to 3 digital disruption factors affecting the selected company. For each digital disruption factor, describe how it might affect the company. Propose a strategic position of the company towards use of digital technology and emphasize relevant guiding principles to follow. You may need to refer to certain topics in order to complete the assignment. While relevant concepts have already been covered in the related module, you may also refer to the DITS manual if you wish to. Section 3.3, Positioning Tools for Digital Organizations. Also refer 3.1, Digital Disruption for better understanding for disruptions. Positioning Tools for Digital Organizations, Maturity Models, Digital Positioning and Sense Making. Within maturity models, you need to understand the models to define organization characteristics, the 4 levels of digital mastery, models that help to evolve, and the limits of digital models. And within digital positioning and sense making, you need to understand the digital positioning assessment framework, which depicts strategy focused quadrants. And there are 2 types, the digital positioning using the 4 pillars of transformation, which depicts transformation quadrants and zone of completion for business, operation, cultural, and experience transformations. And the second one being the position assessment framework using physical presence, digital presence, standard technology, and emerging technology. Let us now take a quick look into the official case study for the exam, in particular for the assignments to be submitted. This is the ITIL4 Digital and IT Strategic case study. In this case study, you will see there are 3 companies, MCL, the new hospitality company, TNH, and Interlearn, and there is also a major risk report. The companies in this case study are fictitious. You might find some information about how the assignments need to be done in groups. However, note that as an individual within the e-learning, you would have to work on the assignments on your own. Apart from the companies explained in this case study, there is also a risk report and information about how those risks are likely to affect all the three companies. And where relevant, this information should also be used during your assignments. You can also make some additional assumptions about these companies if you wish to, as long as they are reasonable, and you also mention them particularly in your assignment response forms. So firstly, there is this company MCL. It's an international education company. I urge you to go through this and study this carefully. The next company is the new hospitality company, and they have some cooperation with the previous company MCL. And the third company is Interlearn. It's a startup company, again related to education. They have contacts with MCL. And finally, the major risk report and how those risks may impact MCL, TNH, and Interlearn. So this is the case study. So as you noted, there are three companies in this case study, and you would have to select one of them and stick to that one. For example, if you selected MCL, then you would have to respond to all the four assignments, keeping MCL as the company in perspective. On the other hand, if you choose TNH or Interlearn, then you'd have to respond to all the four assignments, keeping either TNH or Interlearn for all the four assignments. You may not switch between one company to another among the different assignments. However, you will need to understand the information about all the three companies and the risk report to complete all your four assignments. Let us take a quick look at the assignment response form for the assignment number 1. This is how these forms look like. You should be able to download these forms for each of the four assignments from your online access to this course, as well as the case study. So if you notice here, there are two questions here. Number 1, based on the case study and your assumptions, identify 3 digital disruption factors affecting your company. And for each digital disruption factor, describe how it might affect the company. So there would be 3 lines given here for you. You'd have to fill in your responses in these lines. The feedback notes are for the trainer to respond back to you with their feedback. Also do note at the top, you have to mention the name of the organization you have selected. So it could be MCL or TNH or Interlearn, one of them only. And the questions need to be answered for that company in perspective, with that company in perspective. And please remember, you would have to stick to the same company for all the 4 assignments. Scrolling down, there are 2 more questions. Propose a strategic position of the company towards the use of digital technology. And lastly, identify the relevant guiding principles that should be followed. Though it mentions group form, this is the same form to be used for individuals as well. We now move on to the second assignment. This assignment is based on the DIT syllabus learning objective 5. Understand strategic approaches made possible by digital and IT to achieve customer market relevance and operational excellence. In particular, syllabus 5.4 applies strategic approaches for digital organizations. Assess approaches, that is. In the response form, you need to answer the following questions. Based on the case study and your assumptions, propose a strategic focus for the company: customer market relevance, or operational excellence, or transformation or evaluation, or social responsibility and sustainability. For the selected strategic focus, propose up to 5 improvement recommendations to be implemented, and emphasize the relevant guiding principles that must be followed. The key study references for this assignment are the following. You may refer to the DITS manual if you wish to, section 5.2, Strategic Approaches for Digital Organizations, which include the following: strategic approaches for customer or market relevance, which include customer journeys, omni-channel delivery and support, context-sensitive delivery and support, customer analytics, customer 360 approach, staying relevant, evaluating and responding to customer feedback, that is. The other approaches could be strategic approaches for operational excellence, which includes continual improvement as a basis for strategy, automation, service optimization, technology modernization, sourcing strategies, workforce strategies, and employee 360 approach. Strategic approaches to evolution include innovation, agility and resilience, organizational change management, and knowledge management. And lastly, strategic approaches for social responsibility and sustainability. Let us now take a look into the assignment response form for the second assignment. Like before, you need to fill in the name of the organization at the top first, and it should be the same as what you selected for the first assignment. And the questions are the same as just explained to you a while ago. Based on the case study and your assumption, prepare a strategic focus for the company. It could be one of these four focus: customer or market relevance, operational excellence, transformation or evolution, or social responsibility and sustainability. Remember that the feedback notes are for the trainer. Number two question is, for the selected strategic focus, propose 5 improvement recommendations to implement. And so you will have 5 entries below. And for each of them, you need to identify the relevant guiding principles that should be followed. We move on to the third assignment now. This assignment is based on the learning objective 8, understand how to implement a digital strategy. In particular, syllabus 8.3. Apply the following approaches to strategy coordination and implementation: large-scale transformation, incremental transformation, mergers and acquisitions, individual changes. In the response form, you need to answer the following questions. Create the organization's purpose statement and vision. Define 2 key objectives of the organization's digital strategy. Select a digital strategy implementation approach. Provide 3 arguments justifying the selection of the approach. List up to 3 risks associated with the selected approach. Identify 3 groups of key stakeholders and propose a communication approach for each group. Identify the relevant guiding principles that should be followed. The key references for study are in the manual, section 6.1, how strategies are implemented, which can include large-scale transformation or incremental transformation or mergers and changes or individual changes. Let us take a quick look into the feedback assignment response form. As always, need to enter the organization name, same as before. For assignment 1 and 2, the same should be used in the assignment 3 as well. First question is to create the organization's purpose statement and vision. Second is to define 2 key objectives for the organization's digital strategy. Number 3 is to select a digital strategy implementation approach, either a large-scale transformation or incremental or mergers and acquisitions or individual changes. 3.1 is to provide 3 arguments justifying the selection of the approach. And then 3.2 is to identify 3 risks associated with the selected approach. And then we have the last assignment, number 4. This is based on the learning objective 4, using DITS to remain viable in environments disrupted by digital technology. In particular, syllabus 4.2, know how to apply DITS in managing VUCA environments, how to analyze the VUCA factors, meaning volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. In the response form, you need to answer the following questions. Identify and explain up to 5 VUCA factors affecting the selected company. Propose an approach for addressing the identified factors in the context of the digital strategy defined earlier. Identify the relevant guiding principles that should be followed. And key study references would be the following. Section 8.1, long-term momentum, ensuring organizational viability, from the DITS manual. And that includes the following: VUCA, digital transformation, service economy. Digital transformation and service economy contribute to the VUCA environment. Also, ensuring the viability of digital organizations, the guiding principles, key behavior patterns, and organizational characteristics. And lastly, strategic approaches to address VUCA, addressing volatility, addressing uncertainty, addressing complexity, and addressing ambiguity. Let us take a look into the assignment response form for assignment number 4. Fill in the organization name, same as the one you have used for assignments 1, 2, and 3. Number 1 question, identify and explain the 4 VUCA factors affecting the selected company. Number 2, propose an approach for addressing the identified factors in the context of digital strategy defined earlier. As you see, the entries have to be aligned here among the various columns for a specific role. Question 3 is identify the relevant guiding principles that should be followed. So all the 3 columns, the information should be aligned to each other. So if you pick up one VUCA factor, then the approach for that factor should be mentioned here, and the principle related to that factor and approach should be mentioned here. So that's all we have in this form. And lastly, there is also the individual takeaway form, which you may download from the online access to this course. We recommend that you use this takeaway form for your own notes, for your own learnings. This need not be submitted. However, please do feel free to share it with us if you like to. You may want to use these notes for applying these learnings in your own work environment. Here is the structure of the individual takeaway form. You may want to make a note of the various strategy design steps and the methods and techniques used, the challenges you faced, and where to apply in your company, and who should be involved in your company. Thank you for going through this lecture to clearly understand the nature of the case study and the nature of the assignments to be completed before you can take the written exam. Wishing you success.